not yet, and I'm sure Beatle fans will remind us of this, not yet the most famous ever English George Martin. Well, we're almost set to go at the Principality. I'm Martin Gillingham, alongside the former Wales international, Tom Shanklin. Well, Tom, I bet you didn't think 3 weeks ago Wales would be playing here for the Triple Crown.
No, far more optimistic than we were, say, 3 weeks ago or 3 months ago. A little bit of luck, I'd say, with 2 red cards, but, you know, sometimes you need that to kickstart your momentum. It shows you how key discipline is, and the pleasing thing, I think, for Welsh fans out there is they're creating and they're executing tries, something they've been starved of recently, and they're going to need to be on their game today against a brutally under pressure England team. Look, it's dominated the news, it's dominated the TV. It's Wales versus England. Let's just hope it lives up to the hype.
Second red.
There's the referee from France, Pascal Gauzer. England playing from left to right. Kieran Hardy will get an early touch, just his second start for Wales today. I must say, Tom, plenty of options when it comes to 9 for Wales. Kieran Hardy, that's a little bit of a gamble, perhaps the most inexperienced of them.
Yeah, but he's raw. There's no doubt he's exciting. You know, Gareth Davies as well. And I think if you're looking for impact off the bench, Gareth Davies probably gives you a little bit more. So happy with the decision to start Kieran Hardy at 9.
Billy Vunipola getting an early carry. In his own words, he's been rubbish so far in this championship. But Eddie Jones placing huge faith in him, and Liam Williams under no pressure, calling the mark.
Yeah, look, Billy Vunipola probably hasn't been, you know, at his best. I think we can see that, but there's a big game in it. You know, there's one thing you don't really want to anger. It's an England player with the size and the power that he's got.
Backwards.
George Ford just controlling that with his shins. Here goes Elliot Daly. Another of those players who perhaps has been a little bit off par or under par thus far. Another comfortable take there for Williams.
Step back, step back. You're good now.
Just to report on one or two of the whispers and rumours that have been going on this morning around Cardiff. Question marks again about the fitness of Jonathan Davies. It was only really half an hour or so before kick-off. We were absolutely convinced that he was fit to start. Who knows, there may have been nothing more than rumour and innuendo about that, but there have been so many concerns about his fitness over the course of the last year since damaging that knee at the World Cup. Here's Ford on there to Farrell.
Extra roll.
An additional roll there from Johnny May.
And that's an example of some of the laws which are changing, which is difficult to get out, because, you know, we're so used to training and teaching kids, you know, if you're under pressure, do that extra roll, but you're not allowed to now. As soon as you hit the ground, you've got to release it. It's the right decision.
We talk so much when we're looking forward to these clashes, Tom, about just how much meeting England means to the Welsh country. You've been there yourself. Give us a sense. Do the pulses quicken that bit more? Does it matter that bit, Mitch, that little bit more?
Yeah, I think it does. And that stems from your father, your grandfather. You know, it's been around for a lot of time. This is always the biggest game, and you just tend to up yourself that extra 5–10% to get one over on the old enemy.
There's Alan Wynne-Jones. Alan Wynne-Jones today earning his 146th cap. Bigger hoist. Elliot Daly taking that very comfortably as well, and he finds a bit of space, but as so often it's Dan Biggar covering the backfield.
Well, that's a big kick from Dan Biggar. Elliot Daly does so well to get himself out of trouble there, just buys himself a little bit of time just to move laterally to the side.
So we're going back to that deliberate knock-on against Maro Itoje. As high quality a player as he is, Tom, he does give away more than his fair share of penalties.
He does, but he causes so much carnage at breakdowns. You know, he's so annoying in that breakdown. Really good for England, just able to sort of generate slow ball out of quick ball. You know, invaluable in that aspect. But yeah, you're right. You know, discipline does need to improve.
Good early attacking platform. There's yet another penalty advantage here. So 2 England penalties in the opening 4 minutes.
Entry 4. Entry 4.
That time going against, well, he said 4. It's Itoje again.
Entry.
Yeah, coming in the side. You know, 2 penalties on the trot. That's not going to please Eddie Jones or his team. You know, gifted
7.
Wales
7.
territory.
10 meter, please. 10 meter.
There's only one option really here. You know, in such a tight game, when it's evenly balanced, you've got to take points when they're on offer. And you think a man like Dan Biggar, very good kicking percentage. You fancy this. There's Maro Itoje, he's coming inside. Pascal Gauzès picked it up straight away.
Yes, Pascal Gauzès, certainly one of the high risers in the refereeing charts these days. And Dan Biggar, you talked about that high kicking percentage. And a couple of notches higher after that. Wales on the scoreboard after 5.5 minutes.
Often doesn't get a chance to kick a goal because of Lee Halfpenny and what he does, but the bloke is amazing off the tee. So accurate, really good under pressure. And I like the balance of him starting and Callum Sheedy to come off the bench if needed. Someone that can change a game.
Step back. 4, stay. Use now.
There is Kieran Hardy. Back at Scarlett again. Oh, and Maro Itoje charged it down. Oh, and just getting across in the nick of time, a former Saracens teammate. Saving his scrum half.
Oh, we mentioned him, didn't we, at ruck time? What a nuisance he is. Those long limbs. Really good at charging down. Caused Scotland so much trouble in the first half. In the opening game in round 1. And nearly creates a try out of nothing for his team.
Well, that should be a lesson learned for Kieran Hardy. That was a good chase from Josh Adams back after his 2-match suspension for breaching COVID protocols.
Ball is out.
Well, Wales competing well on the ground.
Well, that was a big carry from Carl Sinclair, a massive hit as well. Because the hit was so hard, Carl Sinclair ended up going straight down. And here's a charge down. Look, Gav Hardy needs blockers in there, needs to take his time, needs to try and kick on his own terms. You know, no one there at all protecting that charge down. Oh, I bet he thought he was in, didn't he? Just until Liam Williams cleans up the mess.
Patience, discipline advice.
The former Saracen denies the current Saracen.
I like the look of Liam Williams at 15 as well. You know, just adds another dimension, I think, into the attack, into the counter-attack. You know, games are full of kicking at the moment, but when the kicks are loose, that's when you can pounce. There's no one better, really, than Liam Williams.
There are plenty of high-quality back threes these days in Test rugby, but I'd suggest there's none superior to this current Wales one.
Stuart Hogg's been playing pretty well at Scotland as well. They're very similar in style.
Yeah, talking about high-quality players from the back three, I've noticed that Cheslin Colby's been used quite a bit these days at fly half by Toulouse, which is a nod to his quality. I can imagine 1 or 2 people around the world saying, well, what about the Springbok back three or the All Blacks back three?
When you're that good, like Cheslin Colby, you know, you can play anywhere. It's like Shane Williams, Jason Robinson. You know, wherever they play, they're going to have an impact on the game.
Change his boots.
Oh, Maka Vunipola, I think it's just a change of boot.
Taking the mouldies off, putting the studs in. Well, look at the size of those.
Well, Eddie Jones, he is something of a contrarian, is Eddie Jones, despite all the calls to change his team from the press, from the public. He's adamant. He knows what his best 23 is. And I think it's fair to say, Tom, that the core of this 23 is still very much the same core that England or Eddie Jones took to the World Cup final, and that's why today is such an important encounter for them. They lose today, the championship's gone.
Yeah, well, you're right. It's the core of this team took New Zealand apart in the semi-final of the World Cup, one of the best games I've seen England play. So they've been given another chance, and Eddie Jones is adamant the best is yet to come.
There goes Hardy, making a few metres. He's eventually dragged back. Josh Adams steps into play, scrum half. Alan Wynne-Jones being held up by, among others, Tom Curry. Bigger. Chance to run for a moment there for George North. Here's Josh Navidi. Navidi getting his first start in a test match since the meeting of these two sides at Twickenham last year, 51 weeks ago.
Stop!
Bigger. Well, nobody really got underneath that one. George Ford just chips ahead, looking for space.
Move back! No, 4!
That familiar little kick ahead there from Dan Bigger, but it was well taken by Ben Youngs. Here's Elliot Daly, chooses to keep the ball in hand. The referee's got his arm out again, and some space is opened here for Ben Youngs. Youngs flips the ball inside. Here's Kyle Sinclair. This is much better from England. Farrell takes play inside the 22. There's Youngs.
Level back on side 5.
Wales have come offside, so there is a penalty coming.
Just, please.
That's the danger of loose kicks.
Offside 5.
Something
I
haven't seen much of Elliot Daly running the ball back, kicked it a lot.
Penalty here.
Really, against Scotland and Italy, shows you what a danger man he is. All set up from his counter, and then Ben Youngs. Just a sneaky show and go.
Offside here, never
First
back on
real
side.
attack we've seen from England.
We play an advantage
And here it is here. Just a sneaky pick. Wales unable to set because it's quick ball.
Time off.
There's a huge gap in the Wales defence there.
Yeah, that's the problem when you're playing with quick ball. You know, it's difficult to set. Ben Youngs, being the quality player he is, sees that. Gets himself and his team some much-needed territory.
Step back 10, please.
And we know just how experienced the Wales midfield is, but they're not that experienced playing together in those roles. Well, we're back as we were almost 12 minutes ago.
Yeah, you mentioned the midfield. Look, this is the beauty of today. Wales, England, just matchups absolutely everywhere. You look at the centres, you know, two different styles really. Wales probably a bit more robust, a bit more physical.
Time off.
But then you've got the silky skills, the creative ambition from Farrell and Slade, and then the back row on show today. God, you know, if this is a Lions trial, I think, for places. Has to be.
Well, once again, we're hanging around for Mako Vunipola.
Certainly brighter boots, aren't they?
Having problems with the laces this time. Tom Curry being held up there by Josh Navidi.
No, back! Step back! He's taking back the ball, Taking back the ball,
Well, the referee deciding that England took that back into their 22. In fact, they've changed their minds.
The attacker brought the ball back inside the 22. Teddy Ben Youngs must have been a little bit worried then.
Boys, mark on me.
But they got the decision right in the end. That's the key.
Yes, Pascal Gazer was looking for a bit of inspiration from the man on this side, who ironically is a former scrum half, so perhaps Frank Murphy finding in favour of a man who plies similar trade.
When you rip the ball, you're off feet. When you rip the ball, he's off feet.
That's the third penalty, I think. Maro Itoje's given away now.
When you play the ball, you're off feet. You cannot reach the ball when you're off feet.
You've got to be on your feet to play the ball. He was off his feet when he ripped it. I mean, it was a good back ball from Wales and Toby Faletau, and Maro Itoje just comes around and disrupts Kieran Hardy.
I'm very close.
But then handles it on the floor.
Frank?
Here we can see it now. Here's the tackle. Oh, it's quite harsh, that.
7. Johnny?
You know, you feel like he's going down as he rips it. He's got his hands on the ball.
No, stay!
Kieran Hardy was appealing the moment he lost it. Well, that's tapped back by Johnny Hill. Well, Ken Owens has had one or two problems with his throwing in the championship so far. He lost 4 here against Ireland, only 1 in the last round up at Murrayfield.
Wales would have watched the Scotland game, how Scotland attacked off the back of the line out. That axis between 9 and 10, something that Redpath carried really well into. They're trying to do the same, really, but at the moment can't get clean ball. A lot of pressure there on the kick. Still gives Wales a good opportunity just inside the 22.
Ben Young's playing for England today for the 107th time.
White, gap. 9, 10. Yeah.
Let's see what Owens' option is here.
Hold.
Is to the front to his
50,
captain.
On 5, over. 6, leave it, 6.
It's powerful from Wales.
No, play on.
There it is for Hardy. Standing over it is Justin Tipuric.
Step back.
Hardy here onto Talupi Faletau. That was Alan Wynne-Jones. There's Hardy again onto Ken Owens.
That was a huge hit, I think, by Billy Vunipola there. Rocker stopped him dead.
Avantage tackler.
The arm is out. There's another penalty conceded by England.
You tackler, you stay. You are in the wrong way, and you prevent a quick ball.
Well, that time it's Owen Farrell. Well, this penalty count really must be concerning now for Eddie Jones.
Yeah, discipline wasn't good in round 1.
On the wall. You are clearly tackler. You're on the wrong side. But you prevent a quick ball. Okay? Have a word with your team to change the behavior. Too many infringement.
Owen Farrell saying he's trying to get away. Sometimes that's the case. Sometimes you can't get away because of the way you fall. As he tackles him now, he's trying to hold up George North. But as he gets pushed over, his legs are in the way.
Can you just tell us when your time is back on?
I mean, as a team there, as well as there, you want to play that penalty advantage.
Well, it's quickly taken, and Adams is underneath, and that's wonderfully worked.
Time back on.
Wales have caught England napping. The execution was perfect.
Please.
Took us all by surprise. Listen to.
I stop the time. You give.
Every single water carrier was on the field.
Please.
Give us a second. You've got to give us time to set.
Please. I talk first, okay? I heard what you say. I'm back time on. I let the time to give your message for the teams.
Yes.
I time on, and after it's play on. No, please, no. Thanks. I listen to you.
Pascal Gazer saying time was on. Wales asked him. He said yes. Wales reacted first. Josh Adams just hiding out there. Water carriers on the field, but
Anything, Bracey?
if you're asking the ref, is time on, and he says yes, you go for it. Really good opportunist try there from Wales. Good vision from Dan Biggar and good take under pressure from Josh Adams.
Well, it's becoming, and that's a glorious conversion. It is becoming a test of temperament and leadership for Owen Farrell. And Warren Gatland here watching that, I'm sure will have made a few careful mental notes.
But even so, you know, you've got water carriers on the field, you've still got to react, you've still got to look up what's in front. You know, they were seeing Dan Biggar on the field, you know, you should have had awareness where players are on the field. Josh Adams just hugging that touchline.
Ball! Step back, step back!
Well, when you consider just how experienced this England side is,
He's in.
they have been caught out there and caught out badly. Hardy with the clearance. Here's Vunipola. Able to work up ahead of steam. He's met by, among others, Thomas Francis.
Advantage.
The arm is out from the referee. Well, this match has caught light. That's a superb kick from Farrell, but the referee's going to come back for the penalty.
You roll into the number 9, east to west.
They were playing with advantage there. It's a shame because it was a really decent kick by Farrell. Billy Vunipola there with a 30-metre run-up. We've just seen a penalty given from Owen Farrell for not being able to roll away. Wales guilty then. And you can't be rolling into the ball anymore. You've got to be rolling east or west, left or right, out of the ruck.
You were in front of the kick, you still have anything?
Yeah, stop straight away.
Next time you have to stop immediately.
And Eddie Jones there on the left. John Mitchell
Don't
sat down on the right.
Okay? But don't try. Yeah. I was in good position. Thanks. Trust me.
Well, as if this contest ever needed something additional. It has just had it from that try.
I think you need to be a little bit careful now, the amount of talking going on to the referee. Everyone seems to be having a little pop at him, asking questions all the time. It needs to come from that man there. He needs to stay calm and composed.
Well, that is another straight out of the middle from Owen Farrell. Well, bedside manner is something you tend to associate with the medical profession, but every now and again, rugby captains need to learn a bit of that themselves, don't they?
Yeah, look, quality kick that was. You know, a couple of minutes ago, you thought he had lost it with Pascal Gauzet with the crossfield kick, but just to control himself there, to compose himself and nail that kick under pressure, just shows you what a quality player he is.
What an opening quarter we've had to this test match. Wales leading by 10 points to 6. Dan Biggar with a restart. There's Tom Curry, the Sale Sharks, straight into Ken Owens, the Scarlet. Another carry for Billy Vunipola.
Another penalty for not rolling away. Yeah. Everybody wants quick ball. We want to see quick ball. If it's not quick ball, penalties are given. And it is difficult sometimes because it depends on how you make the tackle as to where you end up. But it's the right call. We've seen a few of them given already in this first 20 minutes. Sort of set the tone for the rest of the game.
Well, it's 8 penalties across both sides, the opening 20 minutes.
Hold.
It's a big carry there.
Hold.
Billy Vunipola, a player who knows he needs a big game here.
Knock on, release.
Ball knocked on, referee playing the advantage. In fact, it's yet another penalty. That's number 6 against England.
Knock on wide, you play the ball off feet and you prevent the play.
Just England seem a little bit rattled at the moment. Tom Curry
It's clearly
on the back peel there, hammering it into the Welsh defence, but loses it. Look now, here it is, initially really good.
Give number early, please.
It just loses it on the floor there.
Stay, hold.
And Mako Vunipola there, you could see him just trying to crawl and claw the ball back on the floor.
Over.
Louis Rees-Zammit popping up in the midfield. There's Talupi Faletau.
No.
That's Wyn Jones, who's had a good Six Nations so far. That was a good carry from him. Here's Kieran Hardy on there to Biggar.
No! No hands! Step back!
Josh Adams steps in to play scrum half again.
Stay.
Wales continue to probe the narrow side.
No feet now. Play on.
Ball claimed by England.
It's just no con red. No con red. Stay. Step back.
George Ford spins it wide to Elliot Daly.
I'm back to the no con. First no con.
Now there was a knock on there, but the referee decides that he wants to return for the first one, which was off a Wales hand. There's Thomas Francis.
No.
It's in quality position.
How we look?
Only Tom Curry.
No con by you. When you try to lift the ball, it's move forward.
Here we go, boys, come on.
You can see why Elliot Daly wanted to have a crack there, trying to run the ball in hand, penalty advantage, and also in front of him he had Thomas Francis and Adam Beard, just trying to separate those two, get a one-on-one, use his footwork.
Let's go.
Walking hard. It's good, good. Support body weight, elbow up.
Adam Beard's been settling in nicely, hasn't he, after time away from being one of the first choice locks.
Fine.
You know, Alwyn Jones has obviously been heavily involved with Wales for a long period now. You know, plenty of second row partners, but Adam Beard just seems to shore up the set piece well. It's a massive lump, good in the scrum, good in the line-out.
Balance.
Adds a little bit of bulk to the Welsh pack.
Carl Sinclair there, who was infamously niggled here 2 years ago, was hauled off by Eddie Jones. It was Alan Wyn Jones who knew which buttons to press with the former Harlequin.
Okay, you move your head. Straight. Yeah. You move your head.
Yeah,
No,
Carl
you
Sinclair,
move
who
your
is
head
now
first.
playing his rugby at Bristol, but ironically he's been mentored by a rather famous Wales prop, a certain Adam Jones, who played, what, 93 times for Wales. There's Liam Williams. Sinclair following up, making a good tackle.
Keep the line.
The thing that Carl Sinclair offers you, not just a big carry and good in the scrum, but it's the little intricacies when he's at first receiver with little tip-ons and passes behind to the 10. Such a good ball player as well.
Well, nobody getting underneath that. Josh Adams, I think, cursing himself for not being the first there.
No one really commanding the air at the moment. You know, the ball shouldn't have really bounced. It was a superb spiral up and under by George Ford, mine. Something we don't see too often. Really difficult to take in the air because it's not spinning end over end, it's spinning spirally. The wind can move it slightly.
10.
Yes, we might well talk quite a bit today about that spiral bomb, which is something that George Ford has rather perfected, a skill which has been in rugby league for a fair while. Jonathan Davis just getting it away. It came forward off the hand of Henry Slade. There's Liam Williams giving Louis Rees-Zammit a chance to get after it, and it's taken into touch by his Gloucester teammate Johnny May.
Slight knock on initially, but advantage over, and a nice kick through actually. The ball doesn't bounce out, and here you can see the line out. It's the old bounce pass.
Captain.
Nearly fools
Captain,
everyone.
give the number quickly.
But because the kick didn't go out, it forces Johnny May to collect it and run into touch, and just gives Wales back possession.
10 points to 6, 26 minutes gone. Far down there by Adam Beard. There's Biggar. Here's George North. Good first time tackle from Farrell. Kieran Hardy on here to Talupi Faletau.
Thanks to.
Adam Beard again, just bending his back to improve the body position. Kieran Hardy senses half a chance here for Adams. Hardy's after it, but Watson's got first run. And in the end, it proved fairly innocuous.
Nice covering from Watson there. Had to stay sharp.
Frank?
Josh Adams was still on his touchline. Had to keep an eye on him. Cleans up well.
Thanks, Alex.
Zammit on there to Liam Williams. Met by Itoje.
Step back.
Here's Josh Navidi. His inclusion, he's been struggling quite a bit with concussion problems in recent months as Josh Navidi, but he's such an important player for Wales.
Wait. Please, please. The ruck shift, and you never back onside. You're offside, penalty here.
Well, the pained expression there from Maro Itoje spoke volumes.
Initially, it looked like the ball was out, which means they could play it. You know, it's out the back foot there.
But the back, the breakdown, shift.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure about that penalty. To me, it looked like the ball had come out the back foot. Dan Biggar didn't want it. Kieran Hardy had to react.
Thanks, Brace.
And Itoje caused Ali Price a lot of difficulty in that Scotland game. He's given away a lot of penalties, but Kieran Hardy be well aware of him and the threat he causes and poses at ruck time.
Yes, almost a carbon copy. In those opening minutes, Ali Price getting charged down in the Calcutta Cup. It's gone loose. It's Lewis Rees-Zammit who tidies things up. Liam Williams out wide here to Josh Adams. Ken Owens takes on Sinclair. Biggar, long pass out to Adam Beard. Now there's some space. Talupi Faletau had Tipuric outside him.
Back.
Wales up to the 22. Here's George North. Straight into a wall of white. Another penalty conceded by England. Can Wales make more of it? Perhaps they can. Here's Talupi Faletau.
Advantage offside.
Referee still playing that advantage. Here's Biggar. George North. Adams again. Slices it through there for Lewis Rees-Zammit, almost gathered it. It's still there for Liam Williams, and Williams has gone over. Well, let's see what the decision here is of Pascal Gauzer. I suspect we're going to be calling in the television match official.
Okay, for your on-field decision, try. But have a look about the potential knock-on. If not, we already try, we back to the penalty.
You can see Lewis Rees-Zammit a little bit disappointed. If he could have taken that cleanly.
Yes, Pascal.
Passes inside. Yeah, he's not that on.
Maybe a knock-on by the Welsh player.
Yes, if he takes that cleanly.
So on field decision is try. I check a potential knock-on by 14 Wales.
Yeah, I think he just takes his eye off the ball as he sees maybe Elliot Daly coming in. Certainly picked up well and goes over from Liam Williams. But here it is. And he knows as well. You can see his reaction after. I think.
No, please.
Pascal Gauzer will go back to the original penalty. It's just in 22.
That's all right, goal, Alex.
Yeah,
the
best
might have been half a chance.
Yeah, can you show me again, please?
Well, Pascal Gauzer looking at the big screen at the end of the Principality Stadium. Alex Ruiz, his French colleague, is the television match official.
Yeah.
It's pretty clear. Knock on.
Pascal is the best angle.
Yeah.
We have. So, for Mathieu Pascal, yeah. I don't see the player lost the ball forward by 14.
Yeah.
So the ball touched the legs.
Yeah.
And here it touched the legs and the ball go backwards. So I don't see the ball go forward.
Yeah.
So you can still on field decision.
Try. Anyone disagree? Bryce and Frank? Bracey?
I think that's travel forward.
Okay.
You know, it's just the
see
speed
what
of
the-
Lewis
I'll see
Zammit
this
has gone
again.
faster than the ball.
Well, we are going to
Did you
end
try
up
it?
here with two tries that, for different reasons, are going to produce real talking points. The try has been awarded. Liam Williams has got the second. Wales are up to 15.
That is a
Well,
stroke
I
of luck.
wonder what's going on behind that face covering of Eddie Jones.
That is fortunate. You know, that ball goes forward there. You know, it's just that Lewis Zammit is in front of the ball. That look says it all, I think.
Liam Williams celebrating his score. He picked one up, a crucial score in the comeback against Scotland a fortnight ago up at Murrayfield. He's now got the second here against England.
And that try is not classed as a knock-on because it's come off his hand, off his hip, off his leg before it's hit the ground. Then I think we need to start looking at the laws.
And Dan Biggar has just added to the pain of England. A gentle kiss off the inside of the bar.
The right left?
And I'd suggest a little peck from the gods there for Wales.
Ocon?
Taken there by Itoje. That time it definitely was a knock-on, and that was two.
First knock on here. I think you touch your arm, sir. Some?
Lovely kick-off, nice and high. Gave England something to chase. And they've got reward for it. Still, Wales with an 11-point lead at the moment. You're going to start thinking, when are England going to launch something? You know, first off, their discipline has been poor, as it was in round one.
Fine.
Now, what a difference 2 or 3 weeks makes. Wayne Pivac all the way through last year. The only test match wins he got were against Italy and against Georgia. Elliot Daly that time, spilling it forward.
That's just a sign of a team with no confidence at the moment. That's just a simple pass which he's knocked on. Initially really well worked. There's a slight chance of an overlap. You can see Johnny May outside. That's Lewis Zammit. He's the last man. Liam Williams is coming up, but if that ball goes to Johnny May, at least he's got a little bit of time before Liam Williams comes up. There's space behind as well. But that just shows you, you know, Elliot Daly is a good player. There's no doubt about that. He's a lion. It's his 50th cap today. You know, he's been around for a while. It's just a lack of concentration and a dip of confidence. And that's the difference today. That's what we've seen so far in both teams. There's one team which is full of confidence with 2 wins from 2, and there's another team on the flip side, England, which look like they have none at the moment.
There was just a feeling that Elliot Daly was grabbing at that.
Crutch. Fine. Set. Stay high. Stay high.
There goes Jonathan Davis.
Back, back. Step back.
Both coaches, for their own reasons, putting their faith and experience today. Jonathan Davis was certainly,
In front.
well, there were 1 or 2 red jerseys ahead of the kicker that time. That's a soft penalty given away by Wales.
In front. Wide.
It is sloppy, soft from Wyn Jones, who's actually had a cracking tournament so far. You know, who would have thought people would be talking about him being the Lions' loose head at the moment.
Yeah.
But he's in front of the kicker as Gareth Hardy boxes. You've got to stop, you've got to wait until someone plays you onside.
What's happening on your side?
Well, immediately you hand an opportunity here for England to bite back. 6 minutes to go to half-time.
Please.
England trailing by 11. Look at that penalty count. England up to 7.
Look on the night, Bracy.
Six.
Stay. No,
George
get back.
goes to
Get back. 10, get back.
Johnny Hill,
No.
the extra chief.
No, stay.
It's there with Jamie George, recalled today in place of Luke Cowan-Dickie. Mark Wilson is there with him as well. It's 10 metres out from the Wales line.
No, you cannot fly.
Ben Young's just looking for the ball. There comes the scrum half. Onto his captain, Owen Farrell, who's held up by Dan Biggar. Youngs. George Ford. Crucial intervention there from George North, but there is an advantage. So England have 3 points if they want them, but it gives them the security of a free hit. Carl Sinclair out there to Youngs. There's George. Chance for Anthony Watson. He's got the ball down. England have got the try.
Excellent try from Anthony Watson. Great feat to step inside, power through the tackle. And we saw how good he was last week against Italy. You know, stepping back inside.
Four.
That was all off fast ball, all off advantage.
Advantage.
Decent pass from Jamie George just to give his winger a little bit of space and time. Look at this, all quick ball, really quick ruck. And that's a nice ball from Jamie George. Puts it right out in front for Watson. Look at this, step off to the right, pumps the legs. 3 Welsh players on him and manages to get the ball down. That's a international finish from a brilliant player.
Well, we saw the instincts there of a natural scorer. Took quite a bit to get over the try line for Anthony Watson. 2 tries against Italy, now 1 against Wales. Well, England trail now by 6 points.
They desperately needed that try. Anthony Watson topping the charts for England in post-contact meters. You know, so when he takes contact, the meters that he's able to generate is the best in the England team, and you can see why. Steps inside, half tackles, pumps the legs, just knows where the try line is.
Well, this match between 2 old rivals, but recently they're 2 quite familiar ones as well. It's their 3rd meeting in the last 12 months. Both those 2 previous matches going the way of England, and Wales just giving the ball away. Chipped over the top there from Ben Youngs. That's a tester for Louis Rees-Zammit, who lets it go into touch.
Momentum completely swung now. England have got their tails up. Tom Curry there, that was brilliant. Look at the dive, gets back up as well, secures the ball.
Wait.
That's incredible work.
That was very Liam Williams.
No, please. Where you are?
Last 2 minutes of the half.
10.
Wales will be determined to get the exit right here. There's Talufi Faletau.
Leave it 1. No. 9.
Dan Biggar hanging back inside the in-goal area. Kieran Hardy will look to take this himself, despite the presence of Johnny Hill. He doesn't find touch, though, just finds Billy Vunipola.
Is there a side step then?
He's out.
Don't think so.
Ford feeds the ball on here to Henry Slade. Elliot Daly again goes for the gap.
Play on, it's good.
That was well stolen. Brilliant play there from Liam Williams. That was vital for the men in red.
Stand on your feet, red.
It's been the best 2 or 3 minutes of the match so far for England.
Use now.
Presence of mind there from Liam Williams, just to know when to hit the rack and turn the ball over.
Ball is touch.
Well, that was acrobatic from Elliot Daly. He knew that the ball had been clipped by a teammate. There goes Johnny May, well, half running into Billy Vunipola. Last 30 seconds of the half. Carl Sinclair. Back there to George Ford.
Stop.
That's the straight end-over-end kick. Anthony Watson got there, and Josh Adams just, I think, nudged it forward, but the referee's let it go. Here's Kieran Hardy, and Hardy's off and running. Well, that time he did lose it forward.
Alex, check his knock-on for
I do rather suspect there was a knock-on a bit earlier.
Yeah, I think there was. From Josh Adams. If we played advantage, just in case.
Well, Kieran Hardy looks like he may have jarred his shoulder.
There it is.
And back to the knock-on here.
Good pace from him. Good knockdown from George Ford with a handoff, but looks like he just gets his arm caught, doesn't he, when he lands?
I know.
That's what you're taught to do. When there's a big friend coming out, you knock it down.
No, nothing.
Your inside arm.
It was a great challenge.
Grab with your outside arm.
Yeah, me too.
Well, we've also got, I think, is it Dan Bigger down, requiring some treatment? Well, the clock's continuing to run.
First knock-on.
Well, they've got 1 or 2 adjustments to make on the clock before we get going.
Don't prevent his binding. Thank you. At the center. It's good. You know. He's in front. Stay high, boys. Let's go,
Just thinking, will England fancy their chances now, or do you think they're going at half-time?
Bind.
6 points behind.
Set.
Be interested to see what Ben Youngs wants to do. Does he just want to kick the ball out, reassess, regroup?
Scrum again. No.
Well, they are going to reset.
I love the way when the scrum goes around like that. Both teams shouting, yes, yes, just trying to influence the referee. Pascal Gauzès have none of it.
After they turn. Okay?
Resetting the scrum.
Eddie Jones preparing to get downstairs to issue 1 or 2 instructions in the 10 minutes or so he will have with the team. Well, it's been an opening 40 minutes of 3 tries, plenty of talking points, shifting momentum. Now, can England maybe produce 1 final talking point?
Advantage.
Referee playing an advantage here to England. There goes Henrik Slade. There's plenty of green acres here for England. Elliot Daly, perhaps he should have looked to his left. He had Johnny May there. There's Ben Youngs, George Ford. Farrell takes it, gets through 1 tackle. Supporting there is Slade. This is so much better from England. Ford out there to Sinclair. Sinclair loses it. Here's Jamie George. Referee still playing a penalty advantage here to the men in white, though. Ford. Well, it's Jonathan Davis who gets in the middle. But it's Thomas Francis who's come offside.
3 offside.
Well, scrambled really well there. Cut to pieces in the centre. George North went all or nothing. But then some quality defensive reach. Josh Adams on the left wing, jamming in to stop the ball going out wide.
I play advantage.
But this is the break.
I say
See George just ball watching. Henry Slade goes through.
Yeah.
Elliot Daly had a man outside him, but it's difficult when you're looking inside, you're looking at the cover. But Johnny May was there.
Good.
It was a great ball from Ford, really flat. Elliot Daly hits the line. And if there's one thing, you know, George North is a centre. He's playing today, but he's played predominantly on the wing. It's a difficult position to defend at 13. You know, Jonathan Davis makes it look easy. And that's just an example of where you can get caught.
Well, in the end, it's proved a long first half, but England get the final points. It's 31 points in that first 40 minutes. The balance of them going to Wales, I must say. It sets things up wonderfully for the second half. Wales lead England by 17 points to 14. If you needed any qualification of the quality of this fixture, 10 of the Lions starting 15 from that famous third test against the All Blacks in Auckland 4 years ago are starting here today. Watson, Farrell, Daly, George, Itoje and Maka Vunipola for England. Alan Wynne-Jones, Liam Williams, Jonathan Davies and Talupi Faletau for Wales. And at the moment, it's the 4 of Wales rather than the 6 of England who will be happiest, though this match certainly hangs in the balance. Well, I hope you've enjoyed talking or reviewing that first 40, because I must say there's been plenty of chatter going on around the world about one or two of the things that went on in that first half. Looking back, Tom, it will, I suppose, be whatever happens in terms of the outcome of the match. Certainly plenty to consider. The Wales tries appear to have come under very close scrutiny.
I think you can justify the first try. You know, the ball, and there was a long stoppage in play. Dan Biggar asked, is the ball in play? Pascal Gauzet said yes. England had plenty of time to react and they didn't, but, you know, yeah, you've got to feel sorry for England and English fans for the second try. Looked a pretty clear knock-on. I can't see a clearer one than that.
Well, this England side beaten just twice since the World Cup.
Inside.
Both of those defeats in opening rounds of rugby's greatest championship.
Use now.
Last year, they lost in Paris to France. This year, on home turf against Scotland. Well, they recovered 12 months ago to win the title. England know they have to win here to stand any chance of pulling off a successful defence of the title. They trail by 3. Kieran Hardy, who learnt his lesson early when he was charged down by Maro Itoje. Billy Vunipola, who certainly has been rather more conspicuous so far this afternoon than he was in either of the first 2 matches against the Scots or the Italians. Ben Youngs pumps it up high as the light starts to fade. Although, of course, we've got the lights on here at the Principality. It is markedly colder than it was at the start of the afternoon. It's remarkable what a shift in temperature. It was well sub-zero where I was at Murrayfield a fortnight ago. It's been almost spring-like in Wales this weekend so far. Anthony Watson being cut down. That was a good chase from Wales.
Stay here.
Here's Maka Vunipola.
Step back one, step back.
Another high ball. Kieran Hardy moving towards it.
No, the ball is available.
Kieran Hardy has taken quite a circuitous route to play this level of rugby. Was offloaded by Scarlets, rediscovered his rugby career playing at Jersey, where he was spotted by their coach, the South African Harvey Billion.
Well, just a hint of an overlap there on the left-hand side. Talupi Faletau put his head up. Quite a conservative start from both teams, a lot of kicking. looking for possession, looking for mistakes from opposition. You know, some big hits, the big hits slowing down the ball. You only really want to play with fast ball. When it's slow, you've got to go to the air. That's what we're seeing.
Use now.
So there's Hardy again, pumping it up high, comes down just outside the 22, taken by Anthony Watson. George Ford. Faletau's underneath this one. Being held up by Carl Sinclair. It's Kieran Hardy on here to Adam Beard.
Wales look like they're lined up on the right-hand side now for a play.
Oh, and Josh Navidi puts it down, but the referee says the ball went backwards. But Josh Navidi keeping hold of the ball rather too long for the liking of Pascal Gauzet.
Good line speed and pressure from England. Ball was slightly behind Josh Navidi, who's in shot now. As he took it, had to turn, end up going on the ground, and then England just flying in. And that's what you're after with this kicking duel. And Wales thought they were lined up, ready to attack. But the pass was slightly off. They just allowed England to get off the line, put an aggressive hit on, and win themselves a penalty. Look, you can see he just had to turn for it. Mako Vunipola hits him, gets back onto his feet really quickly, straight over the ball. That's a superb tackle and jackal. You know, for a big bloke, he gets off the floor really well on his feet quickly.
First hint that Wales are preparing to make one or two alterations. Wallace Halaholo is just stripping down, perhaps preparing to come on. So too maybe Callum Sheedy as well.
You imagine Wallace Halaholo would come on probably for John Davis.
Oh, that one pulled to the left by Owen Farrell.
We saw glimpses of Willis Halaholo a couple of weeks ago against Scotland.
One substitution. 10. Number 10.
So off goes Dan Biggar, replaced by Callum Sheedy. If you were to write down a list of the most improved players
Time on now.
in the British Isles over the course of the last 12 or 24 months, Callum Sheedy would be, I reckon, among the top half dozen.
Yeah, well, he's not come from anywhere. We've obviously known what he's been playing like in Bristol, but, you know, form has really improved, I think, with the form of Bristol as well, and, you know, justifies his place in this 23.
A Bristol player, quality of rugby that suits a ball-playing 10.
And he's also different to Dan Biggar as well, has different attributes, you know, takes the ball a lot flatter, a bit more of a threat with ball in hand.
Backward for me.
And there he was, getting straight into the game. Liam Williams was the player who did the mopping up.
And that's why it's good to have like a yin and yang, I say, at 10. You know, someone different. You know, Dan Biggar's quite conservative, very good at tactically kicking. But then you've got a player coming off the bench like Callum Sheedy that can open up the game a little bit.
Use now.
More of a threat himself, try and bring some of the backs into it, like George North, Lewis Rees-Zammit.
Lewis Rees-Zammit just getting to that, but there we saw, in fact, it was knocked forward by an England player, and Mako Vunipola was in the offside position.
It's instinctive sometimes when the ball comes like that to you. He's just snatched at it. I think the most famous one was Ken Owens in the Lions in the third test.
Let's go, let's go, let's go.
But luckily that one wasn't given as a penalty. This one was.
Thomas Francis is down, just getting some treatment, but he's up and running again as Callum Sheedy pumps the ball inside the England 22.
It's for you. You're in charge, face, eh?
And this is it.
Look, where's the first? Where's the first man? Look, please, 7.
I mean, it may have come off Elliot Daly's leg. You don't know. Could have touched his hand, but you can't. Snatch the ball there.
He's okay?
You're in front. It's a penalty.
Yeah. Wait. Wait. Hold!
So 2 tries from 4 visits into the England 22.
Nine! Get back!
They may have felt that the momentum was starting to slip away from them in the last 10 minutes or so of that first half. Here's Hardy on there to Jonathan Davies. There goes George North, just denting a bit of a hole in that England defence. Lewis Rees-Zammit finding himself in the midfield. Alan Wynne-Jones, the captain. Navidi looking for it. There goes Navidi. Jonathan Davies.
Back!
Adam Beard that time being met by the ferocious defence of Tom Curry.
Advantage.
And there's a handout, and that
From the
was
side.
coming in from the side, and off goes Hardy, and Hardy's through! Not for the first time today, England have been caught napping.
Incredible reactions from that man there, Gareth Hardy. Everybody stopped thinking that Wales would just go for the post. But this is the second time he's come back to bite England. Great thinking, great presence of mind to see the line. Taps and goes straight away. Sloppy penalty from Johnny Hill, comes right in from the side, plays the ball, and then just a quick tap. The hole opens up huge for Kieran Hardy, and good pace. Look, straight away, taps and goes. No one lays a hand on him.
And what does this say about the character of Kieran Hardy? Just his second start for Wales. His first was against Georgia in the autumn. He got caught very early on, charged down by Maro Itoje. A smaller man than Kieran Hardy would have struggled to come back, but look at that. It shows, among other things, absolute confidence, belief in himself. He saw the opportunity, the gap was there, and he ran straight through it.
We just saw from the camera angle from the post set, you could see Elliot Daly turning away, turns his back as Gareth Hardy whizzes through.
Thank you.
You think they'd learn after the first time, England, after the crossfield kick, not to switch off when there's penalties. That's the second time it's happened. You don't often see that in games. Two very similar errors.
And under great pressure, this man slotted goals in the European final last year. And he meets the challenge equally here at the Cathedral of Welsh Rugby.
Kieran Hardy
Wales
dives
all of
early.
a sudden now have 10 points.
Yeah, Kieran Hardy needs to dive early. There's a penalty. Johnny Hill throwing the arm round. That's what the infringement was for, and sharpest out of the box was Kieran Hardy.
Inside. Step back, step back. Use now.
Well, they've been saying it softly all week in Wales. There is the prospect of a triple crown today. It's still some way in the distance, half an hour away to be precise. But England now really do have to produce something if they are to turn the tide. Here's George Ford. Ford kicks through. Well, he almost got hold of it, Liam Williams.
Nice play from England there. Two big carries. Billy Vunipola again. Offered himself and given everything with every carry he's taken. Then Mark Wilson. And a decent little grubber through. Made it very difficult for Liam Williams to take.
Well, as you can see, Woodes Halaholo is on to earn his second cap, the Cardiff Blue. Plays his club rugby literally over the back here.
And he's different to the mould that's on the field, or that has been on the field for Wales. Very silky, very good step. Creates tries as well. With subtle skills with offloads. And really good on his feet. Keeping up in the tackle, keeping the ball alive with offloads.
Stay high. Crutch.
Well, I said a little bit earlier that Billy Vunipola have been quite conspicuous today, but those statistics suggesting that Talupi Faletau perhaps just edging him in a straight one-on-one, but that time, if there's one part of this game we do anticipate or have anticipated England dominating, it has been in the set piece.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Under the pressure, you turn.
Good angle from the scrum here.
I will look. Okay, let me know. Fine. Thanks.
He's saying that Thomas Francis started turning inwards after the pressure.
Anything Ricey on the side?
Sort of thinking England might have fancied their chances with a line out.
Yeah.
This is like just out of the gimme range, isn't it, really, for penalties? Just inside the 15.
Yes, to complete the golfing analogy, this is a bit like a 6-foot putt. You expect to get them, but every now and again you do slip them by. That one, though, straight in the jaws. Owen Farrell goes through his post-kick ritual, and they're back within 7 points.
Okay, yeah. Behind the line, please.
Ford is charged down by Lewis Rees-Zammit.
He was under a lot of pressure then, wasn't he, George Ford? 3 Welsh players in his eye line. Could have dummied. Sold 3 players a dummy there. Not in the position to kick there because the kick was so high
12.
and the airtime on it allowed the Welsh backs to chase hard. So very nearly came off.
Another example of it just giving a little additional lift
Good challenge, Fayon.
to Wales, and
Boys
George
out.
North did rather well there. He was running out of real estate on this side. He knew where the touchline was. I guess that's one of the skills he brings from being a wing naturally. There's Kieran Hardy, the most recent try scorer, onto Alan Wynne-Jones, who's met by Tom Curry and he's driven back. That was powerful from the men in white. Here's Hardy again. Talupi Faletau onto Josh Navidi. Beard onto George North. The tackle from Jamie George. Sheedy. Thomas Francis not making any meters that time.
No, stay back. Lift in, play on, ball, lift in, play on.
England again pleading with the referee. Anthony Watson got there. The ball went backwards.
Roll away.
Wales penalised, failing to roll away.
Yeah, it's been the story of the half, or the game so far, really, especially the first half, not rolling away.
Yeah, the ball was lifting.
Liam Williams there guilty.
Ball was lifting, yeah. Play on. Yeah, because we stop. It's good.
Well, I don't know if you heard that conversation, but I think it's probably fair to say that the relations between the England captain and the referee have pretty much broken down.
Liam Williams there, you can see he's pinned. Vunipola gets on top of him. He can't move.
22. Hold. No, back, go back.
Wales have made a change there in the second row. Number 19, that's Corey Hill, replacing Adam Beard. Ben Young's just considering his options. You can see him there, scanning. There's Farrell. In comes Henry Slade. Halaholo with a tackle. Tom Curry. So industrious, the sail shark. George Ford. That's Elliot Daly losing it forward in the tackle. There's Josh Adams
It is over. Thank you.
off his left foot, sees some space there over the shoulder of Owen Farrell. Adams is back after it. There's George Ford.
No, stop.
Little step, gives himself an angle, and
Nice.
puts it well into touch.
Nice work from Josh Adams there, off the left, manages a spiral. And a decent chase as well. You know, puts enough pressure on George Ford to win his team a line out on the 40-metre line. It all came from an Elliot Daly spill.
Yeah.
Lost it again in the tackle, goes forward. We may see the introduction of Max Malin soon, possibly.
Let's consider for a moment, shall we, Tom, where England are at the moment, because there's no
23.
doubt the
We'll
core
work
of this
quickly.
23 is exactly the same
Yeah.
core
Here.
as took England to a World Cup final, what,
Okay.
16 months or so ago. Despite the clamour from outside, Eddie Jones has maintained faith, even though the performances frequently since then, although they've only been beaten twice since the World Cup final, have not quite met up to the standards that he himself will have set for England. You would have thought that this really is one of those big moments in the development of England rugby.
Well, what we saw with England in the Autumn Nations Cup was them destroying teams physically. We saw it against Ireland, we saw it against Wales, but
It's backward and after
for
you move
whatever
forward.
reason, it doesn't seem to be happening in the Six Nations. I think players are working England out to an extent, you know. If you stop their big carriers, then you stop them, really. You know, Billy Vunipola's not having the biggest effect on games at the moment. You know, you think of some of their huge carriers like your Wilsons, your Vunipolas, your Sinklers. They're not making the yards that they were sort of 3-4 months ago.
Have a look.
Oh, Johnny Hill being replaced by Charlie Ewells.
Fine.
The error,
Set.
a rare one really since the opening minutes from Kieran Hardy.
And you sort of think with George Ford at 10 now and Owen Farrell at 12, they'd be a little bit more expansive behind. You've got two ball players, not really seeing that. Seeing a lot of kicking. I know sometimes games turn out like that
No
naturally.
engage. No,
But when you've got two ball players at 10 and 12,
don't pull back.
you want to see creation. You know, you want to see attacking threats,
Take the hit.
attacking the line, you know, playing either side of the ruck. No, Ford, Farrell and Slade.
Fine.
You know, that's such an attacking combination there. Yet we've not seen much of them today.
Stay high. Stay high.
And Johnny May, a man of 32 test tries, he has not seen a lot of the ball so far.
Stop, Steven.
Well read there by Josh Adams.
I mean, a classic opportunity to really have a crack. You know, Lewis Rees-Zammit would have been held back a little bit. There would have been space out wide.
Please.
And George Ford just wants to sit back in the pocket and try and hit the corner, but the kick is too high. It's in the air for too long. Josh Adams is able to change direction, take a clean mark.
Ford. And the chance to run there for Billy Vunipola, but that was a good chase from the Wales captain.
Backward for me.
There's Mako Vunipola. Look at that. Outstanding carry from the Saracens' loose head. This is more like it, perhaps. Elliot Daly on here to May. Good tackle around the bootlaces coming from George North. Here's Carl Sinclair. England starting to go through the gears a bit now.
Clear side entry.
Side entry from England.
From the side clearly.
Bit off script there.
7.
Henry Slade comes in on a short angle, but sort of away from his support.
7.
You can see how isolated it is. Curry there is deemed to be coming in from the side.
7. From side.
You know, sometimes you want to hit these short solo runs, you think it's on, but he's tackled and he's run away from support. Support can't get there quick enough. Alan Wynne-Jones gets over the ball and Curry comes in from the side. It's just a little bit unstructured for England at the moment.
Wide 2.
I think Alan Wynne-Jones felt that a little bit as well, and There is just a pause to treat a Wales player. Now Thomas Francis, who has been in the wars a bit today.
How many? Number, please. Number.
So England making an alteration at hooker. Luke Cowan-Dickie is on for Jeremy George.
Time on. Hold.
Ken Owens goes there to Justin Tipuric. There's some good acting there from the Wales line-out. They've had to be resourceful. That time they certainly were. Sheedy with the boot. Here's Daly, who has options here.
No, three, stop.
He takes the aerial one. Sheedy's underneath it.
Backwards.
Well, it was Johnny May who just got his left palm to it. He's done well there as the Gloucester wing.
Be on here out wide if they can get the ball there.
There's Henry Slade. He has Anthony Watson, who cuts in field looking for a gap. Goes around the referee. Charlie Ewels. Here's George Ford. Owen Farrell. They're starting to open their stride quite literally here are England. That's Johnny May. This is so much better from the men in white. That was Maro Itoje. Youngs goes, sees the gap, and he's through. That could prove a crucial try in the defence of their championship. Ben Youngs, whose tries clinched the last title out there in Rome. Well, he's got one here which really drags England right back into the match.
That's the ball, the two decoy runners behind of Farrell. Johnny May does really well to stay in field, and there's all quick ball. And we've seen, this is a glimpse of what England can do off quick ball. Ben Young's been sharp around the ruck, had a pick and go in the first half, went 40 metres. This time he goes 5 metres, but the most important 5 metres over the try line.
Time off. Yeah, time is off. Yeah. Alex?
Well, Owen Farrell started this match with 986 points for England.
Thank you.
He'll be successful this time. It'll take him through 1,000.
Okay, time on.
Owen Farrell into four figures. The scores are tied up.
Slick play
1 and 2 Wales.
from England there. There's the pick and go. Dummies, two players. Here's Wyn Jones, who gets sold a dummy. But all that ball there, those 3 or 4 phases prior to that were all quick ball. England using the width and then just using their big runners.
It's Jones for Jones on the loose head side for Wales. Off has gone Wyn. He's been replaced by Rodri.
Take the line, sir. On the line, yeah.
This game on, we're going to see a great finish to this game.
You can see we're in 16. Elliot Dee, the Dragon.
They're on the line. Say.
Well, what a final 17 minutes there are in front of us. The take there from Corey Hill.
No. No. Okay.
Corey Hill was one of the try scorers late on 2 years ago when Wales won here. Faletau. Kieran Hardy. Here's Tipuric. Hardy. Hala Holo. Being met there by Curry. Sheedy quickly through the hands, on there to Liam Williams. Josh Adams Can't get away from Elliot Daly. Sheedy. Oh, he's through, is Callum Sheedy. Kicks it just across field. There's a chance here. Back goes Anthony Watson, who did wonderfully well for England. They still have to put the finishing touches to it, though.
No, stick back.
They're caught in a very tight corner of the men in white.
No, it's okay.
It looks like Kieran Hardy's pulled a hamstring as well, but Watson, incredible work there.
Five, step back.
Recovering back.
Get it out then.
Step back.
And it's Ben Youngs, the most recent try scorer, who gets rid of it. And from a very tight angle, and with not a lot of time in which to do it, he's found a wonderful touch.
But that's what Sheedy does, takes it flat to the line, dummies the inside, and then puts it on his boot.
Red 9.
You can just see there
Yeah.
Gareth Hardy's foot, hamstring looks like it's just gone. Clean break from Sheedy, lovely kick as well. Brilliant pace from Watson there.
22 red and 7 white. Ways.
Well, Kieran Hardy has gone off, and well, they brought on a scrum half with the pace of a wing, Gareth Davis.
Yeah, okay.
There he is.
You have a potential for full play. Time off. Yeah.
Each side at the moment,
Well, you want
looking for a hero.
Alex.
Yeah, because I think I have had clash between two players, so I would like to check a potential.
I will check potential for full play.
Yeah,
Well,
full
they
play,
are
sorry.
just checking the possibility of foul play. You may well have heard the voice there of Alex Ruiz.
Waiting there. Yeah, but we
Well, it's that clash with Tom Curry.
Doesn't dip, stays high, head on head. What Will Rugby trying to get away from, what everyone's trying to get away from.
Just I would like a point of the contact by 7 white, Pascal.
This will be a good angle. It starts on his chest and then goes up.
Yeah, but for me, the seven try to grasp the player. Okay.
Yes, Pascal, I agree.
Yeah, but you have to look where is the point of the contact.
So, Pascal, for my view, nothing illegal, just rugby collision.
For me, it's rugby collision. The seven white. Try to make a tackle rush.
Yes.
Yeah. It's not full play.
No.
Back to the scrum.
Yes.
Back to the line now.
Yes.
Thanks.
Yes, Pascal.
Nothing illegal.
It hits him on the chest, quite high on the chest, but nothing illegal, but borderline, close. You know, and that's why you've got to look to go low, because
Eyes on.
if he's not spot on there, connection is made with Willis's Halaholo's head, and that could be a red card. But get it just right.
Well, since the last round of matches in the English Premiership, we've had a series of red cards, the most recent coming last night in a match up at Sale. So every time we get one of those incidents referred, there is a sharp intake of breath. As Thomas Francis rather finding his route blocked by the referee, but the referee was playing an advantage.
15. Offside. 4 offside.
Toji again,
Offside.
another penalty.
Time off. 4. 0 now. 4. Yeah, you're offside here. A lot of penalty in the first half against you. One more here. Okay. Discipline. Thank you.
Well, England's penalty count is into double figures, and Maro Itoje's is up to 5.
What do you want?
That's what the penalty's for. He needs to join after he's jumped from the back. He tries to stay in for a little bit. He's too late getting out of there. It's picked up by the linesman on the far side.
Well, if we go back over the years, how many times have these matches featured moments like these? One man, a slightly tilted ball, and 2 upright white poles. Callum Sheedy. And he's done it.
It's a high pressure kick for a player that wouldn't be used to it. And he's come out on top. You know, it's getting down now to the business end of the game. But make sure when you get the opportunity to take it. That was a decent kick from Sheedy. Turned straight away to run back. He knew it was going straight through.
Ellis Genge is on. Mako Vunipola is off. In his mind's eye, Callum Sheedy has just grown 6 inches. Alan Wynne-Jones. That's what the experience of 146 caps for Wales, an additional 9 for the Lions, does for you. Oh, Maro Itoje there, just charging down Gareth Davis.
He's binding, it's perfect. Yeah, it's good.
Well, he's been on the edge all afternoon, Maro Itoje. That time he was on it rather than over it.
Nines must hate playing against him. You know, he's everywhere.
3 red.
He manages to get himself through rucks. He's over the top, charging down. He makes the service that Nine wants to deliver so difficult, so hard.
Wales have made a change on the tight head side. Bruised and battered. Thomas Francis is off.
On! 8.
On comes Leon Brown. Just Kyle Sinclair remains now of the starting props, in fact, of the entire starting front rows. Here's Davis.
Wait, 6.
That time the scrum half getting a bit of protection. Johnny May bravely under the high ball. But it's come out in the hands of a man in red. There's George North. Didn't have too many options out wide. There was plenty of wide defence. Gareth Davis. The carry that time from Rodri Jones. Sheedy. Halaholo inside to Josh Adams. Adams is away and running. Sheedy. Snuffed out. Good England defence. That was Ellis Genge. Here's Talupi Faletau.
Stay.
Clock says we have 12 minutes to go. Josh Navidi. He's enjoyed himself today, his first start since this fixture last season.
Step back 4.
England slowed the ball down well now, forcing Gareth Davis to kick.
Stop!
Lewis Rees-Zammit is after it. Johnny May, again, is the king underneath it.
He's been really good on his wing, Johnny May, either collecting his kicks or just getting a hand to it. Just something in the air.
He's in good position to contest the ball.
Well, it's more indiscipline from England. Yeah. And when you move into the last 10 or so minutes of a match, in a contest as tight as this one, it can prove so expensive.
Yes, Genge there is the culprit. Smashed Callum Sheedy a couple of phases before, right back over the gain line.
16. Come.
Lying on top of the ball, sealing the ball off.
Don't holding the player, don't trap the player.
He's trapping the ball, not allowing Elliot D
don't block and don't
to challenge for it.
Still, 60.
Well, Welsh fans won't need reminding that the head-to-head clashes between these two sides in the Six Nations have in recent years gone very much the way of England. Wales having won just once in the last 7 championships. For Wales, the Triple Crown at stake. Can Callum Sheedy put one hand onto it? He can.
He's in the zone with his boot. He's come on and made a huge difference, I think, to this Welsh team.
6 wide.
It came on fairly early again for Dan Biggar, and already we've seen a line break. We've seen how good he is kicking off the tee. Just keeps defences thinking that little bit more.
Wait the 6 white and wait the 6 red.
Well, there are a fair few comings and goings. Eddie Jones throwing on his finishers. Ben Earl among them, so too Dan Robson. Wales have brought on a famous English name, Jim Botham, grandson of Ian, but he is wearing red.
On the line. On the line.
Wales will be anxious to get this exit right. Gareth Davies. Here's Billy Vunipola, just getting into Wales territory. For many of these players in red, it's the biggest 10 minutes of their rugby careers. There are a fair few old, wise hands, but for others, the likes of Botham, even the likes of Adams, this matters more than anything. Henry Slade.
Stop, Steven!
Good kick there over the shoulder of Liam Williams.
Intelligent play from Henry Slade. Pretty slick move there from England. The Wales had drifted off. It was man on man. You saw the space. It was a decent kick. Just allows England now to pressurise this Welsh line-out.
Well, there's a nod to Josh Navidi.
Wales probably going down on numbers just to try and secure the ball.
Elliot Dean will want to get this right. Alan Wynne-Jones it was who took responsibility, and they get the penalty.
At some stage now, Pascal Gauzer is going to have to dip into his pocket for, I think, a yellow card. And a lot of infringements going on. Stop-start game in the second half, mostly down to penalties. He's got to give a warning at some stage.
At this stage, they become self-defeating, don't they?
Yeah, completely. There has to be punishment for continuous penalty. He was there jumping across and then trying to steal the ball from Alan Wynne-Jones.
Gap, please.
And a 13th penalty conceded by England.
Next time is free kick. I give you a mark here.
And that's what really they're averaging per match is about 13 penalties. You know, you want to be under 10.
Hold, 9. Hold, no 9. Okay, now.
It's Elliot Dee who's got the ball tucked under his left arm. You can hear the appealing coming in there from the players, trying to influence the referee.
Step back! No, 20, 21.
There's absolutely no width to this Welsh line at the moment. This kick has to be good because there will be space on the right-hand side if Johnny May can catch it cleanly.
And he has done. He did get a bit of protection there from Dan Robson, and that's why there's a penalty.
You're changing your line and you're...
It's Dan Robson who's been penalised.
Changing your line, 22 white. Thanks, Racy, good call.
We'll have a look at this in the replay now. You've got to stay still. You can't go offline. You can't obstruct. But again, another penalty with no card.
Time off.
Look at the way Louis Rees-Zammit gives him a push here, which almost underlines what's going on. That is street smartness.
It's just too obvious. He just changes his line just to try and obstruct Louis Rees-Zammit. Refs,
time off.
TMOs are so hot on this right now. You just can't do it.
Time off.
You know, there's been so many soft penalties from both teams, but I suppose mostly England in this game.
Yeah.
You know, silly penalties. It's just not needed.
You give a decision early.
Eddie Jones doesn't give much away, does he, in his facials?
Please.
But I'm sure he's seething inside. A key stage of the game as well. But you wouldn't bet against this guy at the moment, would you? Off the tee.
It's not match point yet, but you get a sense this is to take it to 40-30. Oh, I say, Callum Sheedy. Not one, not two, but now three.
Really impressed with Sheedy today. We had a proper good look at him. We saw a bit against Scotland and what he can do. But this is a high-pressure game against a good England team, and you know, he's passing the test so far.
No call, red.
Well, England know they now have to score, and score quickly. Robson on there to Sinclair. Here's Billy Vunipola. They will think they need a score of some kind in the next 2 or 3 minutes if they are to rescue this match, if they are to save their championship. Beaten by Scotland, they can't afford another defeat. There's Farrell. Here's Watson, the scorer of that first England try. He's forced back by Justin Tipuric. Farrell, Cowan-Dickie. He was met by Rodri Jones. Farrell just goes for a gap that isn't there. Talupi Faletau with another to his tackle count. Henry Slade.
Because Wales now England need to score a try, they can sort of leave the rucks alone.
Josh Adams with a big boot forward. Back goes Owen Farrell. He considers the options. They have to now try and be expansive, but look at that from Justin Tipuric. Here's George Ford. Henry Slade. Glorious tackle coming in from Josh Adams.
And pass the ball,
But then Wales have been penalised.
Initially came from a quality rip from George North, just to relieve the pressure.
And pass the ball, you never on the ball first, yeah.
But like I was saying, Wales don't really need to compete at rucks now, because they know England need a try. They can leave the rucks alone, they can spread the field. You know, so there shouldn't be really any mismatches.
Okay, you must attack the ball.
And every time England look up, there should be a red shirt theoretically in front of them. It's not a bad position to be in with 3.5 minutes to go, knowing that the team you're playing against need a try.
Well, what a 2021 it's proving to be for Wales. Last year, all they could beat were Italy and Georgia. They're now 3 minutes away from following Ireland and Scotland with England. The Triple Crown beckons. Is there a final twist? There's Johnny May. Scything tackle coming in from George North. Robson there onto Ford. There's Genge. Here's Robson again. Oh, and it's been stolen by that man, Sheedy. And now Louis Rees-Zammit can get after it. And he's showing Johnny May a clean pair of heels. Now, can he gather it? Oh, there it is! Well, it didn't get down, but how close was Louis Rees-Zammit to that? But it's been knocked on by England. I tell you what, Wales haven't got the try, but that might just be enough to clinch the match anyway.
Oh, he's not happy, is he? You can tell the disappointment.
First knock on is white.
I think the first time or the second time it bounces up, he probably should have taken it. He tries to knee it or kick it on. But that was down to Callum Sheedy with that intercept. Such an opportunity. He's really grown into this game. And he knows, I think, Louis Rees-Zammit knows he should have done more with that.
Yes, knock on white, Pascal, 12 white.
But you just got a glimpse of how fast he is as well, pulling away from Johnny May.
That was the most telling point to me. If that was a foot race, well,
look at him go.
It was Usain Bolt.
I just think that ball,
against something rather more pedestrian.
That ball's up by his hips. It's there to be taken. He sort of made the decision he's going to try and kick it.
More than you. More than you.
But what pace from the youngster. I love watching that. I love seeing him in full flight. You don't actually appreciate how quick he is, so he's up in a foot race against someone like Johnny May.
Feet not too far. Close your feet.
2 minutes on the clock.
Okay.
Wales lead by 9 points.
But that was a key moment, that intercept by Sheedy. You know, just when you think England are on the ascendancy, Sheedy comes up with a steal. And all of a sudden now England are 5 metres out from their own line.
Reset for 2 reasons. Your head must be straight.
Well, Talupi Faletau, who after a couple of miserable years with injury, well, this COVID 12 months, many people will look back on it, and it's been a wretched time for so many people, so many families around. But in rugby terms, and in the greater scheme of things, it doesn't matter a great deal, I suppose. But for Talupi Faletau, it has been a period of regeneration. Here's Gareth Davis. Hala Hollow. Wales ending the game with score.
On the line.
They have the fourth try. They have the triple crown. They have the 5th point. Wayne Pivac, and it's that man Corey Hill, as he did here 2 years ago.
Willis Halaholo sets it up, and then Corey Hill around the corner, gets low, uses the power. We saw him on an angle, I think it was a couple of years ago against England, here at the Principality Stadium. But that's what you want. You want your big players on backs. They set up nicely, comes out a shot, a one-on-one with Henry Slade. When you're 18.5 stone, you're low, you're driving your legs. There can only be one winner. And you can see how much it means. Look at Wayne Pivac. You can see Stephen Jones come in now.
For me, it's really right.
You know, this is huge, not just for the players, but for the management as well. They've been under a lot of pressure after that Autumn Nations Cup, after the Six Nations last year. You know, to win the Triple Crown today is a huge achievement.
But you have to play the restart.
And Callum Sheedy adds the extra 2. Wales are on their way to the final 5. The full 5 points will be theirs.
It was like snooker.
We will have one more phase of play.
It was like snooker, and Farrell gave the handshake.
All that Wales will want to do now is to get the ball into touch. Gareth Davis. And he pops it side-footed into touch. Wayne Pivac, the shakes of the hand. And Wales have their Triple Crown. England have had the championship snatched from their grasp.
It's victory for Wales, the Triple Crown for Wales. It finishes Wales.
Alan Wynne-Jones, Captain Invincible. Well, Tom, what a moment this is for Welsh rugby. And to think, what, 3 or 4 weeks ago, pessimism appeared to be rife around the valleys. Now, well, in their own minds, certainly when it comes to the Northern Hemisphere, Wales will feel as if they're top of the world.
Look, no one would have called this at the start of the game 40 points to 24. At the start of this Six Nations campaign, we were a little bit wary, you know, the Welsh public, the Welsh fans, about what this team could produce. And you're going by the Autumn Nations Cup, you're going by the Six Nations last year. But what a performance today, and I think it's proved a few people wrong, really, that Wales can do it against 15 men. No red cards today. Yes, there was a little bit of luck in that Liam Williams try, but you cannot dispute who the better team was today. You know, Wales were under pressure for certain periods of that game, but there were some key instances. You know, physicality was there, defence was there. You know, answered a lot of questions today. What England came with a 6-2 split on the bench. You knew what they were going to bring. They were going to put pressure on set piece. They were going to use their big ball carriers, but Wales dealt with that so well. And Callum Sheedy again came off the bench with Willis Halaholo, and they both made a big difference.